What would you do if a family tradition slowly chipped away at your self-esteem and joy, pushing you to your breaking point? In today's story, a protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. For as long as Amelia could remember, her mother-in-law, Clara, had a peculiar, some might say tyrannical, holiday tradition. Before every major family gathering, Clara would demand samples of desserts from all the women in the family, Amelia, her sisters-in-law, and her female cousins. These samples weren't just for a casual taste. They were for rigorous testing to determine if the desserts were worthy of making it onto the official holiday food menu. It felt less like a family get-together and more like a culinary competition. Amelia, a talented baker with a genuine passion for creating delicious treats, found this tradition increasingly demoralizing. For years, she had poured her heart into preparing samples, only for Clara to reject them. Time and time again, Clara would always claim she was simply being honest and had the guests' best interests at heart. But to Amelia, it felt like deliberate exclusion. She couldn't shake the feeling that Clara was intentionally trying to sideline her contributions, especially after 2 of her previous dessert samples had been rejected. The public nature of these rejections, with other family members undoubtedly noticing her absence from the coveted menu, only amplified her humiliation. This year, for the Christmas celebration, Clara upped the ante, specifically requesting cookie samples from every participating woman for testing. Amelia, despite her past disappointments, saw this as a personal challenge. She threw herself into the task, meticulously perfecting her recipe, determined to create a cookie that Clara couldn't possibly reject. She worked tirelessly, pouring her creativity and skill into every batch, and finally sent off her sample days ago. The anticipation was agonizing. Then, yesterday, the results came in. David, Amelia's husband, walked through the door after work to find her visibly upset. His heart sank as he saw the familiar crestfallen look on her face. "What's wrong?" he asked gently, already dreading the answer. Amelia's voice trembled as she delivered the news. "Your mother rejected my cookie sample," she said, her eyes welling up. "She decided to exclude my baking from the Christmas food list again this year." David was stunned, a knot tightening in his stomach. He searched for words, but before he could speak, Amelia delivered another bombshell. "I'm backing out of the invitation to attend Christmas with your family," she declared, her voice firm despite the underlying pain. David was floored. Stunned didn't even begin to cover it. He tried to reason with her, to talk her out of it, but she cut him off. "It's done," she stated definitively. In a moment of frustration, he blurted out, "I called her unreasonable to decide to bail on the whole family over some cookie sample. That's just freaking crazy and quite unreasonable." A heated argument ensued. Amelia insisted that his mother was the cause of all this, but David, trying to defend his mother, argued that she was just serious and careful about the food she offers to the guests since we are going to have relatives coming from all sides of country. Amelia simply told him to stop mentioning it. Later, David heard her crying, despite his attempts to reassure her that her baking was amazing and that people have preferences. That's all. This reveals Clara's greatest fatal flaw, her insensitivity and inability to recognize the emotional toll her tradition was taking on her family members. It turned out Amelia wasn't the only one whose sample was rejected. David's sister-in-law, Sarah, and his younger sister, Olivia, also had their samples turned down. Clara hadn't forced anyone to participate. It was purely voluntary. This bizarre dessert testing ritual was a specific focus for Clara, as she was particularly careful about this category of food, while other dishes like appetizers and salads were always welcome. As one online commenter astutely put it, "YTA, I'd never in a million years bake samples to be approved. I'm showing up with my food. Eat it or not, I really don't care. Your mom is TA and very very weird." Another added, "Your mom is also an AH who takes samples in and makes others feel bad because of their cooking. This tradition sucks and I get why OP's wife doesn't want to go." The situation escalated quickly. David later got off the phone with his brother, Mark, who delivered another shockwave. Sarah, his wife, was doing the exact same thing as Amelia. She had also decided to back out of the Christmas invitation. It seemed Amelia had confided in Sarah, and Sarah had decided to follow her lead. Mark was furious, convinced that Amelia was encouraging Sarah's decision. David realized the problem had just exploded. Who knew? Olivia, his younger sister, might join them and decide not to go as well. He couldn't comprehend how things had spiraled so quickly out of control. He knew he had to have a serious discussion with his mother about this. And soon. The story is a powerful reminder that sometimes, the smallest slights, when accumulated over time, can lead to the biggest breaking points. It highlights the importance of empathy and recognizing the impact of our actions, even seemingly minor ones, on others. What do you think? Was Amelia unreasonable for her decision, or was it a justified stand against a demeaning tradition?